Ski Mom Self-Care Series is brought to you by Vrbo. Check out vrbo.com for trusted, family-friendly getaways and plan a stay everyone will love. We are so thankful to Vrbo for sponsoring this and to believing in the fact that women need to take care of themselves on and off the mountain. So today we're going to be celebrating community, and we all know it takes a village to be your best and to also live a healthy life.
So welcome everyone. So today we're going to discuss how the sense of belonging to a community is actually a form of self-care. And here to talk about how interacting with others who share common interests can have a profound impact on our well-being is Mirna Valerio, who's also known as the Mirnavator.
Hey,
Mirna. So Mirna has a very impressive bio and very long. So I'm just going to read some of the highlights about Mirna. So Mirna is a native of Brooklyn, New York. She's a former cross-country coach and teacher. She's a current ultra marathoner, cyclist, skier, DEI professional, and the author of a memoir, A Beautiful Work in Progress. So I'll let her tell her whole story, but she's been featured in the Wall Street Journal, in Runner's World, on NBC Nightly News, CNN, and in the viral documentary, REI Presents The Mirnavator. So her writing has been featured in Women's Running, Self, Outside, and Runner's World. And in 2018, she was chosen as a National Geographic Adventurer of the Year. So one of our favorite things about Mirna, in addition to all of that, is that she's obsessed with skiing. So welcome, Mirna.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, we're so happy that you're here. So we love to start off these interviews with a common question. And you know, everyone knows that self-care can look different for everybody. So we'd love to hear from you, Mirna. What does self-care look like to you?
Self-care to me is really, it boils down to two things: sleeping and having boundaries. So for a long time, I wasn't sleeping enough, and that actually led to a health scare in 2008 where I was doing the thing that I do best, which is being a workaholic, which is like a lot of us women out there, you know, whether we work in the home or not, we are workaholics, and it's very hard to shut that off. So I had this health scare in 2008 and was struggling with sleeping. I was struggling with always trying to, you know, be the best mom, be the best teacher. I was a teacher back then, be the best wife, be the best this, mom, sister. And, you know, just being the best person I could be to everybody but myself. And so I went to the doctor after this health scare, which I thought was a heart attack. It turned out to be a panic attack. And he said to me, you need a drastic shift in your lifestyle. You have to sleep. You know, 4 hours a night isn't going to cut it. So that's what I did. I still woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I started going to bed earlier, and I actually started exercising again because I hadn't been for like 3.5 years, and that's how old my kid was. And so, or he was actually 5 years old. So, but I hadn't, you know, really moved my body intentionally. So when I started doing that, I started getting way tired at night. And so I started sleeping again. So sleeping, and even now that this is a thing that I struggle with, is getting enough sleep. Not that I can't fall asleep, but there's so many things in a day that I want to do. So, so sleeping is one of those things that has helped me in so many different areas of my life, you know, level of inflammation in my body, just being mentally prepared, feeling recovered, both emotionally and physically. And yeah, so please sleep. Please sleep. It is probably the easiest way to take care of yourself. And the second thing is having boundaries and saying no to things that I don't want to do. And I'm old enough that I can just do that freely now.
But, you know, more often than not, when you ask somebody what self-care is all about, they might say something like, oh, a bubble bath or a great yoga session, or maybe some meditation, things like that. But, you know, how can we benefit from community involvement? Maybe it's small, like family, or big, like a bigger community, as self-care. Like, how can we see what can you tell us about what can we derive from being part of a bigger community?
If it's you know, if it's going on a walk or something, or meditating, that can absolutely be a part of your sort of dialing down and relaxing and being with yourself and having some time to yourself. But that is only an answer to the symptoms of not taking care of yourself in a really, really deep and human way. And so, when I said sleeping is really, really important to recover from your day, to recover from interacting with other human beings, whether in a positive or a negative way. If you have children, or if you're taking care of parents, or if you are in that sandwich generation where you're taking care of your children and your aging parents, you have a job, or you are taking care of the home, which is also a job. There's so many things that are sort of interlaced with that we don't think about as in needing self-care. Again, time to yourself, having social time with people that you love and that you care for, and that love and care for you as well. If you think of, there are many sorts of models, but I really love the Maslowian hierarchy of needs, because in addition to your physiological needs, your physiological safety, you need a home, you need shelter, you need clothing, you need, and that plays a lot into what I do in terms of sports. You need all of that to then have some psychological safety. And once you have those things taken care of, you have a home, you have a warm place to be, you have food, the community figures into that. We thrive on community. We thrive as humans on being socially connected to others, whether that's folks in our family or folks in our chosen family. And so when that need isn't met, it is very hard to, in this sort of Maslowian hierarchy, the pyramid, it's very hard to have any sort of self-transformation or self-actualization. And so we have to be in community. When I've been reading all of these books, a lot of them which came out of COVID and having us being isolated and alone. And for those people who happen to go back to an empty apartment thinking that we were going back to work in 2 weeks, or, and then it turned into months and years for some people, that had a profound effect on society, all around the world, where people were suddenly siloed and they were suddenly lonely. And that, loneliness can lead to a lot of things. It can lead to a lot of sort of mental health deficits, physical health deficits. We weren't getting out for exercise. Some of us were. Like, if you were in Vermont, you were getting out with our masks on and everything. And it became really, really difficult. So there are all these books, like Dr. Vivek Murthy, our former Surgeon General, wrote this book called Together. And he talked about all the ways in which, because we were lacking in being socially connected to others, and having the sort of, conversations that we normally do, the back and forth that we do with friends and family, we were becoming increasingly paranoid. Some of us, unfortunately, died by suicide. Some of us are still grappling with the effects of being isolated. And so it's so important to be connected with people. And I think it's a muscle. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm actually an introvert. and I love going back to my hotel room after being on a stage, or being with people, and just kind of staring at the ceiling for like 4 hours at a time, so I can recharge and sort of be by myself and take care of the what I need to take care of for myself, to be able to go out again and be with community. That doesn't mean that I don't like being around people. I love people. I love talking to people. I love just hanging and chilling and doing something together, maybe on the trail, which is why a lot of my work includes taking women out, women who, like, historically have been sort of not included in trail activities, right? Like plus size women, women of color, etc., people who run slower. And we go out, we have this thing, and we have a bunch of things in common, and we go out and we have these incredible experiences. And it doesn't have to be, your togetherness doesn't have to be something like, going to the Alps. Depending on those trails, or skiing in the Alps with people, which is fantastic. But it could be like meeting people at a coffee shop, or going on a walk in your neighborhood with somebody, and really being so intrinsically human. sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes we are siloed. We go to work, we come back home, we look at TV, we make our meals, maybe not in that order, and sometimes we're by ourselves. But like making the effort to go out in community and realize that we have so much in common, even though we have a lot not in common, but we also have things in common, and forming relationships, and then hopefully eventually friendships, and then larger communities based upon those friendships. That is really really healthy for us as a society, and I think we're coming back slowly, from just being so isolated from each other, it's looking good. I would say the prognosis is good.
I obviously everything you just said, community plays such a huge role in shaping who we are. So how has finding your community, your own community, influenced your personal journey? So we'd love to hear about that.
When I had this, as I mentioned before, I had this health scare in 2008. And so what it made me do was, well, I got back on my treadmill, which, that's a solo activity. But once I was comfortable running again, I went outside, and I'd happened to live in a really beautiful part of New Jersey. I know, right? New Jersey, which is called the Garden State for a reason. And I lived around a lot of dirt roads. I lived in central New Jersey. There were horse farms everywhere. And so I would go out and run on these dirt roads. And I happened to live on a boarding school campus as well. So I just went out and I ran by myself. And then little by little, people saw me out there by myself because they were curious. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm running, obviously, slowly, but still running." And they're like, "Well, can I join you?" And that's how it happened. And I said, "Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm going to run slow." They're like, "I don't care. I want somebody to run with." Because so many people are afraid to run by themselves. I live on curiosity. And so like, sometimes I get myself into situations I shouldn't be in by doing things by myself, but whatever. Uh, I'm an adventurer at heart, that's why Nat Geo named me Adventure of the Year for 2018. But anyway, so and that started, and that was a ripple effect. Other people joined us. This is how I got the name Mirnavator. It was my colleagues, my teaching colleagues. They said, "Hey, you have motivated me to start running again, or to start a fitness regimen." And so in that, they started calling me Mirnavator. And then that became a group of women that we called the time is now 365. Every day we're going to do something. We're going to post on Facebook, back when Facebook groups were like, I mean, they're still pretty huge, right? And then I got asked to be a coach by the athletic director of my school, because, "Oh, I see you out there all the time running. How about you run with a couple of girls and you get paid for it after school?" So I'm like, great, let's do that. I became a coach. But then even in that, kids who weren't on my cross country team asked if they could run with me on the weekends. "Hey, Miss Valerio, like, I was wondering if I could go running with you." And it just became this thing. And I'm like, wow, like, oh, this is new to me, but this is great. I love it. And I love being a role model like that. And eventually when I left school, and there had been all these articles about me in Runner's World, etc., people asked me to start a Facebook group. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to be responsible for that. So, but I formulated it, and we immediately had like 15,000 members.
Wow.
Because there were people looking for community.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely believe that community can be found online. It's great when we can meet in person. But during COVID, we had to lean on what was available to us, and that was social media and online communities. And but so I formulated this, created this group. It grew to 15,000, went to 16. Now it's back at 15,000. That's okay, whatever. And then ladies started asking me, because mostly women, ladies that started asking me if I would be interested in hosting a retreat. Okay, I had hosted retreats for kids at my school. So I said, okay, I had a place for us to go. My first retreat was 18 participants in a 5-bedroom house. I didn't know what I was doing. And out of those 18 people, that was 2018, out of those 18 people, a good 12 of them are still in touch. They travel without me now. And these are people that didn't know each other. These are people that, for many of them, they hadn't traveled alone without their kids, without their spouses. Some of them had never been on planes before, and they came because they knew that they would find community, people that were interested in running, people that wanted to be on trails, people that didn't care about others' paces, didn't care about what races you had done or whether you had done any races at all. They wanted to be there. And I asked them, the very first question I asked them when we got into sort of one of our circle times. I said, well, why are you here? That turned into 3 hours and a lot of tears. And I realized that we are missing this. We are missing this. And it doesn't have to happen at a retreat. It can happen in your local running group. It can happen again at a local coffee shop. It can be, you inviting your neighbor that you say hi to sometimes. Hey, do you want to go for a walk? Or do you want to come up for coffee? Or like giving them an aloe bean candle. Just what I do. That's how I entice my neighbors to talk to me.
Oh.
and it doesn't have to be as elaborate as having a retreat. It can be simply reaching out and talking to someone and having a conversation. So that's how this, community has amassed itself. And it astonishes me every day.
So we're all part of a ski community, the Ski Moms community, right? What other ways, or what would you say to the person who might be hesitant to, or might be really truly introverted and might not want to get out of their house or out of their comfort zone and join a community? What could be an actionable thing that you could tell them to tell them it's worth it, and so that you can get all of these benefits that you've derived from community?
I would, number one, especially if someone is a skier and they're part of a ski group, always invite people. People might not respond, with a yes all the time, but I think the first step is knowing that you are invited without any expectations of reciprocation. Without any expectations that one day you're going to say yes. Hopefully, the hope is that you will say yes. But knowing for an introvert and somebody who is like a little bit trepidatious about joining a group, especially in an area or in an arena where they haven't really felt like they belonged before, because that can be another thing. If the invitation is there, they will come. But yeah, I think that's really, really important. So I'm going to put the onus on people already in a group in terms of inviting other people to be a part of that group or to experience a day with that group. That is really, really important. And then for the person that's an introvert or the person that's shy, it is a muscle you have to practice. It's really hard. It is a muscle that you have to really work on and build in small steps. Again, like saying hi to someone or reaching out to a neighbor, even if it's not with like face to face. Hey, I made this pie. I thought you'd like a slice. That's how my neighbors are. I leave them chocolates from Switzerland and they leave me pies. And we, and now we have this like amazing relationship, but it doesn't have to be gifts, but like, or a note, like I noticed your blah, 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 blah was whatever. I just wanted to let you know. And that is reaching out in a very simple but very human way. But, simple eye contact, simple a wave, a head nod, acknowledging somebody's existence is very important, especially these days when a lot of us are on computers all the time. Some of us don't even leave the house. Right. Hey, like I have this goal of getting 8,000 steps today. So I'm going to go outside and I'm going to have a goal of saying hi out loud to 2 people. Hey, how you doing?
So, okay, great. So practicing that can really help get you to feel like you're belonging, as however simple. Let's talk skiing. Mirna, do you remember what first drew you to skiing and how you got started? And what are some of the most meaningful things that skiing has brought to your life?
Yeah, sure. 2010, I took my son and myself to Mountain Creek in Jersey. There's Jersey again. And we took lessons. I just immediately fell in love. I've always been interested in skiing. What is this? What is all this about? So I take lessons. My son's like, one and done. He was 5 or 6 or 7. I don't remember at that point. And I'm like, oh, I love this. I took the 3 lesson package, and then we also had lift tickets. And so I went back there one day in March. It was warm. And I said, I'm going to practice the skills I learned on the bunny slope. Go to the bunny slope, it's closed. And so the lifty that was hanging around was like, you know what? Get on this lift right here, go up, hang a right. It's basically the bunny slope. And I'm like, okay, because I was dumb. I didn't and inexperienced. somehow I made it off the lift without falling. At this point, I only knew how to snowplow and turn and not stop. I did not know how to stop. And so I get on this run, and it's a little icy, but I see these little kids. I'm like, oh, if they're doing it, I'm fine. Little did I know, and that they had been skiing from birth. And so I start down this run, and I'm going faster and faster. It's icy. I don't know how to edge. I don't know any of that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? If I don't fall down right now, I'm going to run into a tree or run off the slope. And so I made myself fall. I slid to the edge of the run, like got tangled in some trees, and somebody called ski patrol. Came up and got me out of the trees because I'd forgotten how to take my skis off, and they brought me back up to the top, and I had to download. It was very embarrassing, and so that was in 2010, and the next time I skied was in 2019, when I was in Breckenridge, and I was just hanging around this learner group and kind of trying to figure out what to do from them. But that was that. And then 2020, I got an email from Jen Gorecki of Coalition Snow, who said, "Hey, I've been seeing your picture all around Outdoor Retailer. I want you on my skis." And I'm like, well, I don't really ski. The last time I skied, or 2 times ago, I had to be picked up by ski patrol. There's a whole story. And she's like, "Oh, great. I want you on my skis." And I'm like, "Okay. All right. So what do you want me to do?" She's like, "Okay, well, how much do I need to pay you?" I'm like, "Oh, are we talking money? Okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to buy me a season pass to Bolton Valley, because I had taken a snowboard lesson there and I liked the vibe. And lessons twice a week for the entire season, and I will story my learning process." And that's what I did. And then after a couple of weeks, I had knee surgery a couple of months before, and my orthopedic surgeon gave me the go ahead to say, he said, "It's going to hurt for a little bit, but it's going to strengthen your legs. So go ahead and do it." And so I take lessons a couple of weeks in. I'm like, you know what? I really like this, after all the tears and like the frozen boots and and having to deal with that, and having to like put all my stuff on outside, and not even knowing, I don't even know how to put my stuff on inside, because like that's what we had to do. It was COVID, right? And so that was 2021, early 2021, and I just fell in love. And Bolton Valley invited me back again the next season to continue taking lessons and learning. And my learning curve was very high because I had two lessons a week, and I also went and practiced. And I know the value of practice. I am a teacher, and then I just became obsessed with downhill skiing. And so I am in I just finished my 5th season, and it is like one of the greatest joys in my life.
Oh, it's so great to hear your story and how you came to become a skier.
Number one, childcare. Many women are parents. I know that all women are not parents, but if you want to get women out there, you want to get more women, and women with families, and I don't have to tell you all, but we make the recreation decisions. Families, you got to offer childcare, or things for the kids to do while the women are out there doing it, doing the thing and skiing. So that's number one. Number two, I love the idea of women's only clinics. I went to one at Magic a couple of weeks ago, or actually 2 months ago, and it was fantastic. I just love the vibe. I love the fact that no one was showboating, greens to blues, and they did it in such a wonderful, gentle, and also pushing us way that was appropriate to everyone's skill level. And there was no mansplaining, there was none of that. It was just phenomenal. So I think, and we're all still in touch. Again, it was just such a phenomenal way of being together, learning and creating community. And now, and I've skied with one of the others in that clinic several times now, and then we're planning on going on vacation in Maine together. You have to be flexible as a community leader, as someone who has started a community, because things change. Group dynamics change. Your groups get bigger, your groups get smaller, the personalities change. So you have to be ready to pivot, to change, to be open to new ideas. Again, that wasn't something I was always very good at. So I've had to learn myself. You know, you have to be ready to like, oh, this group has served its purpose. I'm going to shut this down. And I've done that with several groups on Facebook. Or several things that I have been involved in. I'm going to shut this down because like I need to do something else. I'm going to let somebody else lead. And so like, yeah, you have to be open to different, I'm going to call them opportunities to let the groups evolve or shut down when they need to, when they're no longer useful.
All right. So Mirna, we talked about doing a quick this or that. Are you ready?
I think I am.
Okay, we'll do it real quick. Okay, trail running or road running?
Oh, trail running. Oh, that's easy.
Skiing, groomers, or powder?
Right now, groomers, because I suck at powder.
Group runs or solo runs?
I'm going to say solo runs.
Yep.
Mountains
or beach?
Mountains, absolutely.
Yep, seems like it. Okay, social media or face-to-face?
Both, equally.
Okay.
No. Actually, more face-to-face. Social media is a tool. We really need to be face-to-face with each other.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Absolute early bird.
Mm-hmm. And finally, local community or destination adventures?
Right now, like I've been going to the Alps a lot and I really love it. So I'm going to say destination adventures for now.
Yeah. Okay.
I do live in Vermont though. So.
Right. Oh my goodness, Mirna, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. We love your insight. We love all your tips on getting involved in community. Thank you for coming today and sharing all of your experience and your expertise and all of your advice on community and how to belong in the community. So we really appreciate it.
Are you starting to dream about hot cocoa, snowy chairlift rides, and zipping down perfectly groomed trails? Well, so are we. And that's why we're teaming up with Vrbo this winter. If you're like us, you're always in planning mode and trying to maximize the fun on your family ski vacations. Vrbo's got you covered with private vacation rentals designed for families and friends. Here's why we love Vrbo. First up, space. Our family loves to spread out when we travel, and we all know how much stuff a ski trip involves. Vrbo has a huge selection of quality homes, often with 3 or more bedrooms, so everyone can spread out comfortably and there's room for all your gear. Vrbo properties offer exclusive homes with amazing views of the mountains and many with ski in, ski out, slopeside access. Oh, and have we mentioned privacy? With Vrbo, you'll always get a private vacation rental, meaning no awkward host encounters or shared spaces. It's all yours. Ready for your next adventure? Download the Vrbo app or check out Vrbo.com for trusted, family-friendly getaways and plan a stay everyone will love.